Hey guys.
All right, welcome to our press conference for the Boston College game. It's 3:09 kickoff this weekend, and it will be homecoming. Yesterday it was announced the Clemson Maryland game was a 7 o'clock start on ESPNU on the 15th. I sent out an email Sunday that Coach Brunell's media golf outing will be on Wednesday, October the 12th. And I'll be sending out the schedule will be pretty much the same as it was last year, but I'll be sending out the exact schedule probably later today. I want to thank Coach Tyler from Chick-fil-A in Seneca and Clemson for providing our lunch today.
Okay, thank you all for being here. Just first of all, just want to say I'm proud of our team and our staff, and you know, obviously really happy that we're 5-0 at this point in the season. But there's a lot of work to do, and you know, our focus is 100% on just trying to win our division. So this is a division game, and that's all our focus is on, just trying to get to 3-0 in the ACC. If we can do that, then that helps us in trying to take another step toward our goal. I really like the business-like approach that our players came back with yesterday. I thought our senior meeting was outstanding. I mean, those guys, they were ready. They were dialed in, and you know, really had some good conversation with those guys. And you know, they know, especially after watching the film, they know we've got a ton of improving to do. I mean, we got a lot of work we got to get done to improve in a lot of areas. But again, you know, we're finding ways to win. They keep responding, and just really am thankful for the leadership that we have on this team. That's really a big part of this thing. I mean, and I've been saying that since last spring. I really like the leadership of this team and the accountability, and you know, they're just focused, and you know, and you put that with some talent and great work ethic, you got a chance. So you know, Boston College is you know, typical BC type of team. They're tough, they're physical. You know, they're been a tough team for us every single year. I think 5 out of the last 6 games have been a touchdown or less, and you know, they're a team that beat us last year. You know, and I know they're not having a great season right now to this point, but you know, they weren't having a great season last year. They were 2-5 last year when they beat us, and I don't know if they lost a game after that, but maybe one. Went on to have a really good season. So you know, we know that we're in for a tough game this week against these guys. They'll come in here confident in playing us, and then the other thing is it's homecoming, and that's always a special time here at Clemson. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's the only time that a lot of our alumni or fans will get to a game. So you know, want to obviously make it a special week in every regard from that standpoint. So again, we're just trying to have a good routine this week and do things the way we've been doing them all year. Looking at Boston College's offense, they're an 11-12 personnel type of team. Try to get you to line up wrong with a lot of shifts and motions and those type of things, but they're very capable. Montel Harris is outstanding running back. Had 140-something yards against us last year, and you know, he was a guy last year that we had a hard time getting on the ground. Had a lot of yards after contact. He had their one touchdown that they had off a little wheel route down the sideline there. But you know, they want to run the football. You know, that hasn't changed, and be a play action and control type passing game. Take their shots every now and then. That's what they do. But you know, Montel is a guy that's kind of still getting back going, and I know he'll be excited to play Clemson, and he's played very well against us. So we'll have to stop the run. That's just like last week. If we're gonna win this game, you got to stop the run. You got to win first down, and try to get them in 3rd and long type situations, and you know, that would be advantage Clemson. So This will be a first down type of contest versus these guys. Their defense, strong, physical, they're young. You don't have the statistics maybe that they've had in the last couple of years. I think they led the nation in rushing defense last year. I mean, these guys are really tough every single year with their style of play, as far as how they slant and angle their D linemen and play at the line of scrimmage. They always have big, strong, physical linebackers that can run. They don't make a lot of mistakes in the secondary. Very well coached. But they only got one senior on this defense. I think they only got two seniors on offense. So they're a young football team that is going to get better. But the biggest thing about them, when I look at their defense, they're active up front and they create some problems. But their linebacker Keekly, this guy, he may be the best linebacker in the country. This guy is a heck of a football player. And I had a chance to meet him last year at the Nagurski thing with Daquan. And and my wife even said, I couldn't. He looks like a biochemist or something. That it's you'd never think this guy's ripping people's heads off on a football field. No offense to biochemists, I'm just saying he doesn't look like your typical middle linebacker. He kind of looks like Clark Kent. He got the glasses and a really nice looking guy, and then you turn the film on and it's unbelievable. I swear to you, you can stop the film on every play, and that guy is in the picture somewhere. He's in the picture. And so if you just have a great example of how you want your guys to play, you watch that number 40. He's something special. He's leading this conference in tackles, and maybe leading the country again in tackles. And that ain't an accident now. He's just relentless. So we've got our hands full with him. He had 1 million tackles on us last year too. So, and then 24, I think 6th in the conference. So both those guys combined are really good football players. But again, the focus is on us. We're going to prepare as hard as we can for Boston College and what they do and their tendencies, their techniques, their schemes. But it's really just about us and trying to, improve in certain areas and learn from our mistakes and still just, see if we can take another step toward our ultimate goal. And that's all we're trying to do. So today's practice and tomorrow's practice will be very important, that we go out and that we have, great work. Injury-wise, we're in pretty good shape at this point in the season. We got a lot of guys beat up. The only one, though, that I would say is definitely out is Spencer Benton. He's going to be out for a while. Unfortunately, he fractured his shoulder. And, we're going to miss Spencer because he does a lot of things for us. I'm hopeful that we'll get him back at some point before the season is over. But he's a guy that we're definitely going to miss. And so we're, have to take today and tomorrow and try to figure out what direction we want to go in as far as who's going to be our kickoff guy. Dawson will step in and be our holder, but we got now you got to get your backup holder and your third holder, and because we had 3 holders. Now we got to develop another guy. Spencer was also our backup punter, so we'll really spend the week evaluating that. It looks like Catanzaro will probably be our backup punter. We actually worked him some last week when Dawson was hurt, so we got a chance to get a little sneak peek at what he can do, and he's capable if we have to use him. And then kickoff wise, Dawson and Catanzaro will be the 2 guys right now that we'll look at. So as far as who's going to start right now, I'll have an answer for you later in the week. Any questions?
What are you adding to Taj's package as the game's going on? Like this past week, maybe he was rolling out a little bit more, maybe just giving him the leeway now as he matures.
We just do what we do. We did more nakeds last week just because we felt like that we could it was effective versus how they play on that side of the ball, and the nakeds were effective. Weren't really sprint outs. It was more play action, boots type of deal. But we carry those. We just called it more versus what they were doing. Some teams, again, they don't really pursue as much from the backside, and so they're not as effective. We continue to open it up and tweak each week. We really have done a lot of the same things, but different ways of doing it, and we've got a big library of calls, and some things we haven't got to just simply because of who we're playing. Because it's not the right call to have in this game. But we're right on track, and did not play great offensively last week, and Taj was a little off, but tough defense, tough environment, all that kind of stuff, and a little wind and a little wet, and we just weren't quite as crisp as we've been. Tempo wasn't as good, but we made enough plays, and that's ultimately what you're trying to do. I tell them all the time, there's 5 or 6 plays, and they made the ones that we had to make to win the game.
Last year, BC was in a similar situation when they played y'all in a desperate situation, and they changed all their tendencies and everything on you guys, and it took a whole half to figure out, what they were doing different. Do you expect that same kind of sense of urgency coming from them this week, that they may throw some different things at you that you haven't seen?
They're going to do what they do. I mean, they didn't change a whole lot last year. They just whipped us. It's that simple. They wanted it more than we did. Not complicated. We moved the ball. We lived in the red zone. If y'all remember, we were in the red zone the whole game. We had an interception, missed some kicks, and then they had and that's what happens. And we just kind of let them hang around. Then they hit the one big play on us, and they made kicks, and you end up getting beat. But they just whipped us. Simple as that. They wanted it a whole lot more than we did.
You have frequently used the term bought in, and so have Kevin and Chad. I just wondered what's different, if you could elaborate a little bit about what's different this year as regards to how the kids are buying into what you're preaching. Well,
I mean, I thought they bought in last year. I mean, our guys played hard. They really did, and I've said this. I mean, we weren't a bad team last year. We were a bad record, but we weren't a bad team. We had nobody was excited about playing Clemson, I promise you, because our guys were going to play hard. They were going to compete. And the biggest thing is they stayed together. Those guys, I saw a lot of love on our football team last year. I saw a ton of it. And that's why I knew that we were on the right track in a lot of areas. Yes, we had to fix some things and get better, but from a program standpoint, I knew we had a lot of good things in place, a lot of things that were starting to take root from a program standpoint. But the biggest thing is we've got outstanding leadership. And great chemistry on our staff. And those are 2 things that they're intangibles, but, very underrated on football teams. And we've got just again, excellent chemistry. And the leadership and the accountability on this team, the attention to detail is just way better than it was last year. And then we got better players. I mean, we got more weapons. We just didn't have certain things last year, and we tried hard, but we got a whole different dimension to us this year that we didn't have last year. And when you have success, then it just kind of breeds that confidence, and so that was why it was important for us to get off to a good start this year. Because again, you've got a young team. And coming off a tough year, and so as these guys, they get that momentum rolling, it's a powerful thing, and it's also the other way, when it gets rolling against you, it's hard that way too, and you got to handle that adversity. But that's the biggest difference right there, is just the chemistry, the leadership, and the fact that we got a lot of really talented young players on this team that are winning games for us.
Buying in from the outside of the program, you mentioned last year when you guys were struggling that maybe the vocal minority of the fans out there that were questioning you and didn't seem to be behind you. Do you feel now, for the first time since you became the head coach, that you really have everybody, to steal a phrase, all in?
I don't worry about that. I really don't. Just like when I'm getting hate mail and telling me that I need to die, and everybody with the name Swinney needs to die, and all the media people are writing about how bad I am. it really is irrelevant. It really just makes zero difference to me. And even if they're saying positive things, because I just don't pay attention to it. I just really want to be, I just want to be a guy that makes a difference in the players' lives. That's really the most important thing to me. I could care less what people say about me or think about me. It's not why I do this. I really just want to make a difference in these guys' lives, and if I can do that, people say whatever they want to do, whatever they want to say. But that's really it.
A minute ago, on Rick's question, I'm not sure if I heard it right or if you put two different thoughts together. You said this year you've got great leadership and chemistry on our staff.
Mm-hmm.
Something that wasn't there last year on the coaching staff?
I didn't think we had quite the chemistry that we have this year. And again, that's my fault. Ain't nobody's fault but mine. I mean, it's my job to make sure that we have the right kind of morale and the right things in place. And I think if you want to know a difference in our team, I mean, listen, I mean, we're more talented. We've recruited very well, and I just think that we've got a great chemistry with our players and with our staff to players, all those things.
Is it the kind of thing on the staff, with whatever the chemistry is, that you can see it now more clearly than you could last year, say in the middle of the season? I mean, I'm guessing you weren't thinking, boy, we don't have very good chemistry.
No. And I'm not. We didn't have bad chemistry last year. It wasn't bad. And we didn't have negativity or things like that. I mean, listen, we had a good staff. We had good people. It's the same staff that won the division the year before. That's not it at all. But we just it's my job to fix us. And I just felt like when the season was over, and that's what you do every year. You evaluate, not while you're in the middle of it. While you're in the middle of something, you compete and you battle, and you everybody's together. But when it's all said and done, good or bad, you sit down and you evaluate everything from a program standpoint, and then you either keep moving forward or you tweak, you make some changes, whatever it is. I mean, that's in business, that's in football, and everything.
Seems to be making a difference this year.
Marion?
Yeah.
Oh, he's tremendous. I mean, he's and Chris did a great job. He was a heck of a coach, and he's doing a great job at Alabama. But you got a chance to get a guy like Marion Hobby to come in here, and I'm thankful to Terry Don for helping me get him, because obviously he's a defensive coordinator in this league. But he is outstanding. I got 3 guys in that room that have been defensive coordinators, and there's just a great staff chemistry in there, and Kevin does a great job, but Marion is a really good teacher and a good recruiter, and just what you want in a football coach.
Not comparing him to Chris Rump, but what are the kind of specifics of Marion Hobby that's coming through for you that are showing up?
Well, he's a great teacher, technical teacher of the position. He's a big technique guy. He's got a great background from an NFL standpoint, both as a player and as a coach, that I think translates well to these players. He's very tough. I mean, he is tough, hard-nosed football coach. No-nonsense kind of guy. Shows up every day with the same demeanor, very consistent. Really knows how to get the most out of his guys, and then he's an outstanding recruiter as well. He's already made a difference for us in that regard, and just great person, great wife, daughters, and whole deal. He's made a difference in a lot of ways.
You've mentioned a couple of times about the
Plus, he's from Alabama. Really like it. Birmingham boy.
You talked a couple of times about the importance of sort of tuning out the external noise, whether it's positive or negative. How difficult or easy is that for a team to sort of not be influenced by things that are outside of the circle?
Well, I think it's a challenge in the world we live in. It's a real challenge. It used to not be as bad because a lot of players, probably didn't pick up a newspaper, and if you didn't pick up a newspaper, you didn't hear it unless your mama called you and told you something. It really is a challenge in this day and age because they're social people. They're savvy in that regard, from Twitter to internet to Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and they're just so much more accessible than they used to be. So it's a challenge, but it's something that I think that we've done a good job with as a team and as a staff, and we've had to really work hard since last January to get them to not listen to the negative. That the coaches stink, this is going to happen, doomsday, and all these things. We've had to get them to block all of that out so that we can do our jobs. And what they've bought into is what we were talking about earlier, and that is, listen, if we're going to change Clemson, the outside is irrelevant. We got to do it from the inside. It's us. And if we will buy into these things and be about the right things and stay focused on this process, here's the standard, here's the commitment it's going to take, here's the work ethic it's going to take, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If we'll be about those things, then we will change Clemson. And so the only way that's going to happen is that you don't listen to what they say, okay? We know what's going on. We're here every day, all right? And so that's been a message that we've had to really, really talk to these guys about since last January. Because you have a bad season at Clemson like we had and changes and things like that, then there's going to be a lot of negativity. It just comes with it. And it's a challenge for young people. It's not that big a deal for me just because I've been through it. Seen it, all sides, good and bad. And so you just expect it, and you learn how to handle adversity along the way. But young people are still growing and learning in that area. So that's where I think our team has been incredible. They've done a great job. And that's a big reason why we were able to sign a great recruiting class, because, that class was pretty much signed. And you got changes, you got all these things going on, but our players continued to listen to the right things, be about the right things, and that carried over into our off-season program, into spring practice all summer long. Not many people writing many nice things about Clemson. They ain't heard anything nice about Clemson. All spring, all summer, all camp, nobody had anything nice to say about Clemson. Our players have done a great job of blocking that out and buying into the right things and listening to the right things. So just like that process is important, it's the same thing. And I've said this a couple of times. Now when people patting you on the back and this and how great you are, and all that, and our players have seen a little bit of both. We got a lot of guys on this team that, won a division and played for a championship 2 years ago, and then they saw the other extreme last year. So that was a great teaching process for our team. And I think that's why our leadership is so good this year, because they've got a good feel for the big picture. And they've done a good job with our young players. And again, is it tough? Is it a challenge? Absolutely. But it's just something that we have to talk about a lot. And that, listen, all that stuff is irrelevant. Here's why we're 5-0. Just stay focused on your preparation. Don't worry about outcomes, results, all that stuff. Here's the preparation. This is what we do on Monday. This is what we do on Tuesday. And then we just go play on Saturday. And, we may get beat somewhere along the line. And if that's the case, then hopefully they just beat us because they're a better team. Not because we weren't focused or something like that. That would be a shame. And I don't see that coming with this football team.
Dabo, you said in August this could be a work in progress early, and I'm guessing that was because of all the young guys you were dependent on. Has there been anything or anybody that has exceeded your expectations relative to the sort of what you were thinking back then?
Yeah. Well, I think that's proved to be true. We found a way to win, but we're pretty much a work in progress, and we still are. Our defense is getting better. We weren't very good first 2 or 3 weeks, but we're improving. Offensively, we started off slow, then we got it going. We didn't play very well the other night, so we got a lot of things that we're continuing to improve upon. But I felt like Taj was going to really play well. I really did, but I don't know if I expected him to be quite where he's at right now. He'd be one that I would throw. He has been outstanding. Really, really proud of him. You know, Sammy Watkins, I really expected to be great, and he's been great. But I think that a guy like Corey Crawford is a guy that you know, even though he may be statistically isn't flashy right now, I'm really, really excited about him and his future. TIG Willard is a guy, you know, and there's a guy that, you know, TIG's a great example to a lot of players. First of all, he redshirts. He doesn't play much as a redshirt freshman. He plays a little bit last year, gets hurt. And, you know, now it's just like the lights come on for this guy. And, you know, so we got a lot of guys that have stepped up in a lot of ways. Brandon Thomas, the way he's played the last couple weeks is really, really a positive for us. You know, as far as being a work in progress, guys that we needed to get better. Philip Price, he's been outstanding. You know, I don't know if anybody had anything kind to say about Philip Price. You know, especially when there was a talk that he might be our starting left tackle, and the boy's done pretty good. So, you know, all those things have had to kind of come together, and you know, and the guys have just they're taking pride in their performance in a lot of areas, but. You know, we got several guys that are still a work in progress. Some of those young defensive tackles, and we've been in some really tough battles here the last couple of weeks, which, you know, wasn't a lot of room for some rookies, you know, to kind of expose them to. But hopefully over these next 7 games, you know, we're going to continue to grow up some of those guys inside. I really like them. I think we got some really good players. But fortunately, we've been able to stay healthy, and you know, and even though you don't see them quite as much on game day, they're getting better every week, and they're learning how to game plan. They're learning from the film. They're learning from, you know, Brandon and Rennie and those type of guys. But you know, again, I like our football team. Whatever we've been challenged with so far, you know, whether it's somebody else stepping up or whatever, guys have gotten it done.
Broader sense from what I asked you earlier, in terms of the offense as you move forward, do you have concerns now that you've got 5 games out there for the world to see on tape and study you, that, you know, you really got to self-scout now because a guy like Bellamy's role now could be added on to, or maybe you do some things differently with Allen? What are some thoughts on that?
Well, that's just what you do, and I mean, I would think everybody does that. You self-scout yourself to see what the defense is seeing. You know, that's, you know, when I go in and sit down on the defense, I mean, you know, we got everything on the board, and here's how many times they're in this personnel, and when they got this motion, it's this percentage of run, this percentage of pass, and it's this formation, and they break you down. And we do the same thing from an offensive standpoint. We will break ourselves down so that we can see what they see. And then you tweak and, okay, well, maybe this motion we've been all run, or maybe it's been 9 runs and 1 pass. All right, it might be a good time for a little play action off of that. I mean, so that's always the game within the game. And but as far as what we do, we're going to do what we do. I mean, if they can stop us, they stop us. I mean, we're going to run the zone, we're going to run the power, the counter, sweep. We're going to have a lot of misdirection and mix some screens in there and a lot of play action. We're going to take shots. I mean, we're going to do what we do, and that's not going to change. We might do things a little differently from a presentation standpoint and take advantage of some tendencies that maybe we have set up. But as far as just, you know, changing schemes and things like that, you know, we are who we are.
Could that impact, like, Bellamy seeing more snaps because maybe some of those tendencies?
No, Bellamy is seeing more snaps because he's earning more snaps. You know, he would have played more to this point, but he hadn't earned it. He's practicing better. He's having a little more ownership in the position where we can trust him. You know, we tried to kind of get him going with a couple packages early, and you put him out there and you can't trust him. So, you know, just, you know, got to get his attention a little bit. But he's responded well, and obviously he can really spark a game. And but if he continues to practice like he did last week and how he did last night, then, you know, you'll see his role increase, you know, because he's earned it and because he can change a game.
How good of a story has TIG been for you this year? I mean, just the way he's been playing.
I mean, he's been great. He was ACC Player of the Week this week, and you know, really good tackler. You know, Kevin loves him. I mean, he just absolutely loves him. It's just good. It's good. You know, that's what you want. You want guys to get better in your program. You want to see guys improve. You know, and again, not everybody's great as a freshman. That doesn't mean you're not a good player. That's what I don't like about recruiting. All of a sudden, if a guy doesn't come in, he's not great as a freshman, well, everybody wants to move on to the next guy. And, you know, it's just guys get better at different stages. They improve, and that's what you want to see. You want to see guys just stick with it, and Tig's a great example of just sticking with it and doing what he's been coached to do. He's gotten stronger, he's bigger, and, you know, he's always been able to run. He's always been a tough guy. He's had a lot to learn. I'm really happy for him. Really happy that he's having the kind of season that he's having, and a really good special teams guy. He was one of the guys we made a change with on punt team last week. Put him in there at the wing position, and man, what a great job he did. I mean, he really cleaned it up, and he was just one of those guys, again, that takes a lot of pride in his performance. Doesn't say a whole lot. You never hear his name off the field. I mean, he just handles his business. He's a very good student. Really, really proud of him. It's good to see, you know, him get the most out of Clemson.
Do you think his wrestling skills have helped in his football?
No question. No question. I mean, he's Houdini sometimes as far as how he can get cut and get up. He made a play the other day, I mean, or 2 games ago. I mean, he got cut, and his feet go up in the air, and his hands are on the ground, but he never goes down. And then he goes and makes a play. I mean, he's just slinky and does a great job of avoiding linebackers. Very, very limber and flexible. He's a good blitzer, and has really gotten better with his coverage. And that's why you've seen him more in there on the nickel situations. He's become a starter in that package.
One thing on, back to the offense, Chad was saying yesterday that he still wants to be able to get to the point instead of snapping at 15 to 18 seconds, to be able to get into the zone where you're going 25 seconds. That kind of thing, really put it in overdrive and keep a team on its heels. Are you getting any closer to being able to do that?
Oh, yeah, at times we have. We weren't very good. I mean, first half we were okay, but, you know, you had a lot of things to manage the other night, and we were having a hard time kind of, you know, getting Taj to get that tempo going for us and getting his eyes over there. And, but we were on track. In the second half, we just too many 3-and-outs, and then the latter part of the game, you're taking the air out of the ball, and you're changing how you're operating. So, but you know, we're that's an area that we're still a work in progress. I mean, guys are still learning how to play like we want them to play, and you know, hopefully we can continue to be a good third down team and make sure we're getting the snaps that we want. But you know, we want to get at least 80 a game. And I think we'd have been close the other night if we'd have just made a couple more first downs and played a little better tempo like we were trying to get. But Taj has to drive that. He's got to drive that.
What we were talking about was we're seeing some teams this year, once they get a drive going, then they pick it up. In other words, they get a first down,
Yeah.
another first down, then all of a sudden they're going at 25 seconds and the defense can't get off the
Yeah.
field. And,
Yeah.
you know, like a change of pace.
Oh, yeah.
You're going fast, but then you're going really fast.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'll back it down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that part of the master plan?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We want to press them, especially when you move those chains. You know, when the ball's in the same spot, you're not going very fast. But when the ball's moving, then you're pressing them because they got to find the ball, they got to get people on. I mean, there's a lot going on. But when you get first down, you see us. I mean, we're pushing it. We're as fast as we can possibly go. We want to press them, you know, because when defenses are getting first downs on them, you know, it's kind of lets the air out of them a little bit. So the tempo is definitely a factor in that regard.
Brandon Thompson, your thoughts for a guy so big to be so far off the radar nationally? And it seems he's having.
He ain't off the radar from the National Football League. I can tell you that. He's I don't know why he's off the radar nationally. I don't, you know, again, that doesn't matter. He's a great football player. I mean, this guy is heart and soul of our defense and doesn't say a word. Although I think he talks a lot on the field. I really do. I think he talks a lot on the field. I think he talks while he runs to tackle people. But he's just a joy to be around every day. A very, very, very good player. I mean, a very good player. Going to be a high draft pick, and plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. You know, relentless. If you think about Brandon, you see. You go back to that play the other night where Meeks got the ball. Carlton Lewis hits it, pops it up. Meeks gets it, and he's running. And, he's got no chance to get out in front to block for Meeks. But he is full speed, as fast as he can, chasing downfield. And, I mean, I made a point to the team. Meeks is way out front, and there comes 98. I mean, he's wide open, running 50 yards. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, that's the epitome of Brandon Thompson. And he likes to play. He hates to come out. Every now and then he's got to have a little breather, but he likes to play. He's all proud this year because he's in our what we call Rabbits package, which is really the same 4 guys. But in the past, he would come out on the Rabbits package. He used to make him so mad, but he's worked hard on his pass rush. But he's a good football player. I'm glad we got him. And I promise you, our opponents, they know about him. They don't take long for him to show up. Kind of like that number 40 for BC. You turn the film on, you notice 98 when you see Clemson, no doubt.
Is that the key? Is he as much a key to your defense against the run?
Yes.
Because when he seemed to be able to shut down in the middle and then they go wide,
yes.
and you've got more of an advantage when they
yes.
try to run wide.
And then we did a much better job Saturday night of containing. We've had some people getting outside of us. We're hard to run at. The reason we're hard to run at is Brandon Thompson. He's you can't block him one guy. One guy ain't gonna block him. So he'll gobble up a couple blocks. Well, that allows your linebackers to run. Rennie Moore is a load in there. We are hard to run at. We people have had more success spreading us out and trying to create a little bit of space. But and Brandon, he does fine in that. But obviously he's on the run then. But he's got to do a great job of commanding double teams, and then everybody has to play gaps around him. And he might not show up as much in the stats, but I promise you he's impacting the game in a huge, huge way.
Coach, will you use homecoming and the potential trophy coming back to Clemson as motivation for your players? Do you talk to them about that at all?
Yeah, we lost homecoming last year, and it was miserable. You just don't lose homecoming. So, I definitely will talk to our team about that. I already have. I mean, this is a special week. It's a big week on campus, and our students, they put a lot of effort into, a lot of projects and the floats and all that stuff. We got Tigerama. A lot of people will be here for that, and we play at home. I mean, we're supposed to win at home, but homecoming is a special time, and we need to make sure that we're focused and we play our best game. That we try to just do the very best we can.
Are you surprised that because it's homecoming, you're ranked in the top 10 of the nation, you're undefeated, and yet there are probably still 5,000 or 6,000 tickets available?
No, I mean, I don't really worry about that. Hopefully somebody will gobble them up. I did some kind of video yesterday that somebody told me, I think it said about 4,500 were left, and my comment is, listen, let's fill every seat. Bring a friend, call somebody, tell them it's homecoming, and hopefully they'll come fill it up. But we'll have a great crowd there. I don't worry about that. We'll have a tremendous crowd.
A couple of the kids Saturday night talked about. It's funny because it wasn't a reaction to a question. It sort of came out of their mouth spontaneously. The idea that there's this perception of Clemson that something bad's going to happen. You're going to lose to somebody you shouldn't lose to. Something bad's going to happen. Somebody said, "We're not 2006." Now, is it important for these kids to sort of go their own way, to not sort of live with whatever these perceptional things are?
Well, I just think that's just kind of a common thing out there, that people want to compare you to the past. It's like, a lot of people, want to lump whatever's going on right now at Clemson with the last 20 years. the last 30 years. Well, my thing is well, why can't it be different? You know, why does it have to be like that? Why can't we change? You know, here's how you change it. First of all, you believe that you can, which has been the foundation of this program from the day I got this job, was to try to create an attitude of belief. Because if you don't believe, you got no chance. If you're those people that sit around and say, well, they could never do this, well, you just wait, Clemson will lose this game or they'll do that. Well, you know, I just don't think that way. I'm not wired that way. I've always been just the opposite. And, all right, hey, what can we do? And I really think Clemson can be special. I think it can be one of the elite programs in college football. And my goal for this program is to make it the model program for college football. I want people to say, man, look what Clemson's doing, and look how they're doing it. And then we're not there yet, but hopefully we can continue to make those steps in that direction as we continue to recruit and you know, have consistency. We got to go have consistency in the program until those perceptions are going to stay out there until we do it. And you know, this team has been about change. This team has made a decision that, you know what, you know, I believe that things can be different than the way they've been however long. And that's what I love about these guys. Because, you know, that's unfortunate because a lot of people tell you at Clemson how it used to be or why you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's been a little bit of one of the reasons they haven't had the success here, in my opinion. And so it goes back to my point. If we're going to change it, we got to do it from the inside. And eventually it'll change on the outside. And that's what hopefully we're doing.
The crowd waiting on you when you got home Sunday morning. Maybe Tim could tell us the last time there was a crowd here waiting on the football team to come back.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, our fans, and I don't know where all they came from. It was pretty interesting, diverse crowd. It wasn't just students. I mean, you had some people out there that probably hadn't been up that late at night in a long, long time. But there you go. There you go. So, I mean, it was incredible. And it was special, and I'm really happy for our players because, you know, that just kind of just energizes them and just keeps pushing them forward and putting wind in their sails, you know, and trying to help them keep moving forward. And, you know, it was special, and it was great because obviously that was a great moment for our program. You know, something that hadn't been done before, very difficult task, you know, hadn't beaten Virginia Tech since, you know, most of these guys were born, so it was a great moment, and but we didn't really get a chance to celebrate it, you know, with all the fans. We had a great celebration up there. We had a tremendous turnout in Blacksburg, but to see those people here and excited, and it was it was great to see them, everybody be able to interact and celebrate a really special moment. It was really neat, really neat. Something I won't ever forget.
Since BC beat UMass, does that make them the champions of the state of Massachusetts? So the tour of champions continues?
There you go. There you go. Well, this actually is a championship game because there's a trophy involved here that I actually had in my office for 2 years. We won the inaugural what's the name of the trophy? Yeah, the O'Rourke McFadden. Yeah, the O'Rourke McFadden. It's a great-looking trophy. And it was my very first win, which I'll never forget. And they come up there, and they got this guy from Boston, you know, walks in, and he presents this trophy. And then they do the leather hat, you know. So, yeah, this is the O'Rourke McFadden Championship. And right now they're the O'Rourke McFadden champion because they won it last year. So I got to get it back. I didn't know what to put in that spot. It was great in my office, so I got to try to get it back this week.
Anybody got anything else?
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.